So it's wonderful that you've had an opportunity to come up with a topic today.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was kind of relieved in a sense because I was like, I mean, I love light language, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I tell you? I think it was sacred soul travel.
Yes, and bringing light to the world in preparation for our ascension.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff in there, I can tell you. Yeah, that's a big topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first thing that came into my mind is maybe we should define ascension between us. What do we mean by ascension?
Yeah, it's hard to put into words because I believe that words, and I learned this through light language. Like when I do light language and people ask me, well, what did you say? My higher self always says when we try to define through words what our frequency was just revealing, it dissolves, it dismisses the essence. And so for ascension for me, I just feel like it's the consciousness. It's where the planet as well as all the beings, because we are of the earth and
Mm.
all the beings, animals, stones, rocks, water, of course, we're all ascending to a higher consciousness. We're receiving, we're coming back to what we were in the Lemurian timeline, which was harmony and balance and pure love and working together as one unity consciousness. It's no longer, it's closing the doors of duality and polarity so we could come back to one song, which is really the universe.
That's lovely. And so ascension then is reaching a certain point, perhaps, where our frequency maybe matches um, a cosmic frequency of spirit, perhaps, or something along those lines. Do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're made from love and we're just
Mm.
returning back to love. And the frequency of the universe literally was sound, light, color, which is for me, it's the essence of pure love. And so
Yeah.
it's what we're here to bring back and to anchor, like we talked about, those beautiful anchoring the light, which is the love, and using our voice, because each of us has our unique tones and frequencies.
Mm.
And that's what's interesting about the sacred travel for me, soul travel. And that came to me just the other day because I wound up in 1993, I wound up going to travel agent school in Hawaii. And
Oh.
I know. And I always wanted to go to Hawaii. So the universe was like, all right, well, here's your plan. I had no idea what my plan was. So when I had the travel agent school in Hawaii, I felt very comfortable there. And I wound up coming home, and my husband and I traveled so many places. Like we would just, I was like, I was still working a full time job, but I was doing that as like my part time gig because we got good deals back then. But
Yes.
I didn't, yeah. But I didn't, in retrospect, I looked back, I journal everything. I've been journaling since I'm 14, and it's like my living, yeah, the living archives of my life. And I
Mm.
recognized every one of these trips that we went to was in nature. It was national parks, and it was hiking, and it was waterfalls, and it was discovering the magic of Earth. And I didn't even realize it for like 15 years until I kind of did a retrospect. And then I realized, oh my goodness, when I learned 20 years later, sacred spots on the earth and the grid lines, which is the
Mm.
dragon lines and the ley lines, I was like, oh my goodness, I was doing grid work and I had no idea that I was this hidden, hidden grid
Intuitive
worker.
grid work. Wow, that's brilliant. Yeah.
So it's just
What
so
so
beautiful.
so at the time you didn't realize necessarily that you were on a is this what you were terming a sacred soul journey?
Yeah,
But in actual fact, you were intuitively guided to these
ex-
places. Wow.
exactly. Yeah.
Which ones stand out the most to you, or which one stands out the most?
You know, there's so many. Like, Mount Shasta, always, I knew I always wanted to go to Mount Shasta.
Mm, mm.
I and Sedona have been many times, and Yellowstone was one of our favorites, Yellowstone National Park in Jackson. And then, as I grew on my journey, I realized that a lot of the ascended masters have their, and Banff in Canada, a lot of the ascended masters and archangels actually have their retreats in these mountains. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, these were some of the places in the US that really I didn't want to leave sometimes. Yellowstone was just
Yeah.
amazing. And
Mm.
and then as we grew up and I started, just my husband was like, I don't really want to travel anymore. And so I started doing my own going on pilgrimages now with women, divine, beautiful women. And Avalon called me for about 20 years. I got to go in 2024. And I just got, and like the crazy thing is, everything's synchronized. Like, this is a funny, quick story. I
Yeah.
met the dolphins and the whales called me, so I had to go back to Hawaii and swim with the whales. I was just like, I have to be with the whales. And I didn't realize that the whales are the Akashic record keepers. They're the backup
Mm.
system to the crystalline grid.
Yes, they
And
are.
so it's just so crazy. And they each have their own soul song that they balance and sing through the waters, and it balances and harmonizes the waters. And the whole thing with light language, I knew in my heart, I didn't even know what it was. I had heard the term years ago, and somebody planted that seed in me. And 10 years later, I met a girl and I was like, I need to go to lunch with her. And sure enough, she spoke Lyran light language to me. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then I met another girl who spoke Lyran 3 months later. And the next day I started speaking light language. But the crazy thing is, I wanted to sing. I was being drawn to sing. And I was like, maybe I should go to a choir, this and that. And literally, that's when the song came through, the light language song came through. And everything just lines up. And now, 6 years later, I recognize when I go to these sacred sites, my unique codes, everybody has their own unique song, like the song lines.
Mm-hmm.
I'm activating those particular ley lines that my soul wanted me to go back to. I'm receiving those codes. And those codes that I'm receiving, I'm receiving them in me. I'm activating those on the land. And just like the whale song, I'm then able to bring it home wherever I go, and it's rippling out. So it was just like, what?
That's really nice. Yeah. So when you're anchoring these sounds, um, what's the mechanics of that? Are you simply just tuning in? Is it and receiving a song, or is it the same song? And you are just allowing that to flow into the earth. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, sometimes it's a great question, because sometimes, and I like to be aware of it too. Sometimes I do recognize a song that comes through in many places, but I just open my voice and whatever comes through. And the interesting thing is, sometimes it's Native American
Mm.
chanting almost coming through, and then it'll shift to whistling, and then it'll shift to like a beautiful lullaby sound. All, and sometimes I have to stop and breathe because I'm like, it's coming so quickly, and it's
Yeah.
not a thought, it's just a pure channel.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. I've I was with speaking back to Earth grids and such. I went with a group of people down to Grid Point 44, which is in the Flinders Ranges in South Australia, and it was quite a spiritual trip. It was a very spiritual trip, actually, and we were led by an Aboriginal elder, and we went into one of the canyons to hold a ceremony. And the intent of the ceremony was to guide the Aboriginal elder down to her ancestry, to the very beginning of the forming of her tribe, the Anamantha people, and so I led this regression, and there was 4 men, and I think there was probably would have been maybe 16 women on the trip. And so the night before this occurred, I had just intuitively, but without thinking about it, I'd put my swag, my camp kit, up on a hill away from everyone else. And when the Aboriginal elder that night round the fire said she'd really like to go down her ancestral line, just to sort of basically see where did they depart from the law, was what she wanted to know. So I said, well, I can do that. That's part of my bag of tricks. And she said, okay. So then announces to the whole group, Martin's going to run a ceremony in the canyon tomorrow morning. And I think, oh, am I? I thought I was going to do it one-on-one, you know. And and so that night I was up in my swag, and this Aboriginal guide came to me and told me how to run the ceremony. And he said, have yourself and the elder in the middle, 4 men taking the 4 points of the compass, and then have 4 women mirroring them, and then the remainder of the women, so there must have been 11 there, the remainder of the women in a circle around would represent the 7 sisters of the Pleiades. Yeah, interesting. So we did this, and wow, one of the girls there who was quite intuitive said that as we started the ceremony, she saw a light figure, a light being come and stand behind each one of us. Yeah, and it was pretty powerful. It was a powerful thing. So we've got Earth grid point energy. We've got the Pleiades coming in. We've got an Aboriginal healing guide. And afterwards we were just, it was so amazing. We just singing and dancing and stuff. And the Aboriginal elder, we'd put ochre on so that the spirits would recognise us, an Aboriginal thing, you know. And we're singing away. As you say, coming back to your story now, I had to frame it up because it's an interesting story. Coming back to what you were saying, here I was breaking into song, light language song, and realised that there was one of the girls on the other side of the circle. We realised together we were singing exactly the same words. And I thought, well, this is interesting. So she later on took the words. They actually became a song that we sang for the rest of the trip. So by the time we got back, those words were fairly well embedded within our consciousness, I guess. I can't recall them now. This is back in 2019. And she went back and she interpreted the words through studying the language of the Aboriginal people from that area. And part of what the Aboriginal elder was seeking was to know how to bring in the new dreaming. The new dreaming is turning away from the division, which you mentioned, duality, and coming to be one people moving forward with one mind of love and caring. And the words that we were singing were basically equated to boomerang and, oh gosh, boomerang dreaming were the closest interpretation of the words in the Anamantha Aboriginal language. And of course, boomerang is returning. So dreaming, returning. And the whole purpose of the trip was the new dreaming, to bring in the new dreaming. Wasn't that interesting?
That is so amazing.
It's quite fascinating.
What an experience.
Yeah,
and the grid 44, how fascinating is that? That's like it's angel number 44.
Oh, beautiful.
And
Yeah,
And
grid point 44 is a fairly powerful point on the Earth grid. There are 12 ley lines, or dragon lines as you call them, same song lines. They all converge at the one point. Yeah, across the grid, across the Earth grid.
it's so remarkable. And, like I would say about 8 or 9 months ago, I can't remember, I woke up and I wrote down from my dream dancer. The name Dream Dancer came in, and I was like, I have no idea what that is. But just like you're saying, the synchronicities, everything's just about the remembrance. We have to wake up and remember. And that is so gorgeous with the boomerang. What a wonderful representation.
Yeah, boomerang dreaming. So it's the returning of the dreaming, the new dreaming. Yeah, yeah. I believe that going back to ascension, I believe that there are cycles of time. We've spoken about this on the podcast. We're in the human cycle. And then there's the Elven and the Lemurian and the Atlantean, and there's probably heaps of them. It's probably an infinite number of them, probably.
Right. It's true.
But the ones I guess the ones that are more attuned to the wisdom and the lessons that we are here in this cycle to know and to remember are probably the ones that we're more drawn to. But each cycle has a beginning and an end. But each cycle then, of course, continues because it's a cycle. So in my thinking, the cycle of the human time cycle, I believe the ascension for us will be when we have reached that point that you touched on earlier, where we have achieved the mission, the whole purpose for actually having a human cycle. The spirit has a reason. It's part of the evolution of spirit. It's part of it's one of the journeys that spirit is having. It's kind of like, I imagine spirit standing in front of spirit's wardrobe. And in the wardrobe there's all these different pairs of shoes, right? And there's one pair of shoes that's the hiking boots. Now there's a journey. There's another pair of shoes that's the dancing shoes. There's another journey. And when spirit looks at all these different shoes, I mean, that was a dimension of time with many different hiking journeys. There was a dimension there of many different dances. And I think
I love that.
Yeah. So spirit, and it relates down to you and me as well. You having had, and me having had past and future lives, our higher self, and this is one incarnation of a soul instance of my spirit, which of course is part of the bigger spirit, which is part of your spirit and everyone's spirit. And when it gets to the whole cloud, it's all joined together, kind of thing.
Exactly.
And there's my higher self looking in the cupboard, and there's my Martin shoes. Yeah, I remember that. I remember the journeys I had in those ones. And the funny thing is, shoes have soul, right? They have soul.
Yeah, this is such a great little analogy. I was just thinking that.
When I was wearing those soles,
That's
I
so
went
great.
hiking with that guy. Oh, there's the one over there where I was. They're my pirate shoes when I had that pirate experience or whatever it might have been. Yeah. So I think ascension's a very, very valid thing. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of us shoes are meeting up again, shoe soles, because I really feel like that. Like when I go on these pilgrimages, Kath, I met her in Peru and these other trips, and it's just like instant recognition, not necessarily like visual, but just the heart to heart. We're reading each other's heart signatures, and it's just you're instantly comfortable. And there's a couple of the girls that we all spoke the language, light language.
Wow,
And
yeah.
again, like how that day with you, when you were singing or speaking, and I was like, the words were almost coming out of my mouth. That's the beauty of this homecoming. We're all welcome each other home, walking each other home.
Yeah, we are walking each other home. Yeah, I wrote a song called "Follow Me Home."
Wow.
So yeah.
What shoes were you wearing?
Yeah, when I wrote that song, I do a lot of work, as you might know. I do a lot of work with men, like I'm in an
With men, did you
organisation.
say?
With men, yeah, a lot of men's work.
Good.
Being better
No, I
men.
didn't.
Yeah.
Good. We need you, divine masculine.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That was the
Good to
funny
hear.
thing about this trip that I went on, because literally, well, there were four guys, and the rest were girls, and here we were, and I really have had an issue when some of the girls will say, "Oh, you're so in touch with your divine feminine." And
That's a blessing.
I know, but I will admit, only 7 years ago, it triggered me. I'm not feminine, I'm masculine.
Yes.
And I like
Well,
to, yeah, sorry, go.
no, it's actually a beautiful compliment of obviously,
Yeah,
of
obviously.
course you're right. Like she didn't know. I mean, did she look at it as because we need more of the divine masculine to teach men how to get in touch with the
Yeah,
divine feminine side.
yeah, yeah. I actually, I personally prefer the term sacred masculine.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not exactly sure why. Sacred masculine, divine feminine is kind of like king,
Yeah.
queen. It's sort of a
I
little
like
bit of
that.
differentiation. But the funny thing was, this was really triggering me. Not really, but it was like, yeah, I'm no divine feminine. And anyway, one of the girls had an oracle deck, and she said, "Martin, draw a card." So I did. Guess what the card was? Divine feminine.
There's your that is your
Boom.
universe. Yes. So you're
Yeah,
stepping into that beautiful role of
yeah, I was.
harmonizer.
Yeah, yeah, the
Harmonizer.
harmonizer, having the balance. We've all got masculine, feminine balance within us. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
And yeah,
beautiful.
so that was an interesting moment when I could not believe I drew the divine feminine card. Spirit said, "Gotcha."
Yep. They are humorous. Universe is humorous, as
Yeah.
we all know.
And it
I
was a
love
compliment. It was an acceptance. It was a recognition I guess, of the spirituality that we all held on that trip. I can remember driving along in the bus, and and in my mind's eye, I sort of saw the bus from above, and within the bus, everyone was a little flame, like a little,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. I've got such a
I
clear
love it.
picture of it, even in my head now. Yeah, all these little flames, spirit flames,
Yeah.
and
Sparks of light.
it really was. You get a bunch of girls and a bunch of guys on a trip, and there's you in a normal situation. There's a bit of how you going on, but there was zero of that. It was just there were 21 souls, 21 spirit souls on a bus, and there was never any. Um, there was no innuendo,
Yeah.
and there was also none of the feminine masculine conflict.
Yeah.
And men and women do think differently, but in this one we were just souls. It was
I love
amazing.
that. Well,
Actually,
it was
at the end of the trip, one of the girls said, "It's so nice to meet a guy that doesn't try to hit on me."
exactly.
And I said,
Exactly.
okay, I'll take that as a compliment.
It's so true,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's,
interesting.
you guys are on the mission. And
Yeah,
it's also, it's us now understanding the collective and all of the conditionings and the patterns that we've all been suffering under. And so now the sacred masculine, which is beautiful, and the divine feminine are reawakening to know, to really delineate what our true roles are. Because
mm,
it's been covered up for so many thousands of years, patriarchy and all the junk that we've all went through. So I
yeah,
love
yeah,
that you're working with men because they've lost their own identity, and sometimes they get bashed, and they shouldn't get bashed because it's
yeah.
truly not their fault. It's part of the massive conditioning. So it's
It
funny,
is.
like when I first met my husband, he would like be able to cry or show his emotions, and he's like, I hate that I cry in front of you. And I said, honey, that's what I love most about you.
That's
And
it.
he didn't even
Yeah,
understand what that meant. So
oh,
that was a beautiful compliment that the girl gave you, because men, we all have emotions, so we can emote, and it's important. And
yeah,
vulnerability is strength and
yeah,
courage. So
yeah. I just realised I'm wearing a T-shirt from my last "Growing the Hearts of Men," which is from it's from
perfect.
a 4-day retreat that we ran at the beginning of May.
I
Yeah,
love that. Oh my goodness. I would love to have my husband go on one of your retreats. That would be incredible.
it would be very welcome.
Oh,
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. Soul journeys and bringing the light. Yeah. Because I was wondering what you
yeah.
meant by soul journeys, because it can be interpreted on so many levels. Were you thinking solely about soul journeys in this lifetime? Where you go, the things that you've mentioned, the pilgrimages?
Yeah, it was the sacred soul travel was kind of what I
Mm,
was, classifying it. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I was thinking this lifetime, but can you imagine? I mean, I don't really know my other lifetimes. I've never like seen my past lives or parallel lives, but I've been read, people have read and seen them. And I feel like I know I was Lemurian. There's not even a question about that, and a part of the Essenes. And, so we all have this heart knowing. I don't
mm,
have proof, but it's just that feeling. And
yeah,
yeah, and just being kind and bringing back love and kindness and the harmonizer. Like that's what I feel like I am part of. I'm harmonizing the grids, the earth, my neighborhood, wherever I go. And of course,
yeah,
everyone who's doing this work, we're taking the love and spreading it far and wide.
yeah. I was thinking while you were speaking that Hawaii just so epitomizes the Lemurian frequency, doesn't it? It's
Yes.
amazing. The first time I went to Hawaii, I I just fell in love with the place. It was like coming home. I remember jumping off the plane, and the first thing that happened was this beautiful breeze wrapped around me and brought in sense of frangipani and such. And
Yeah.
that's why mostly in the meditations when I'm setting the elements, I I'm there when I say, and this beautiful breeze comes and wraps around you and with scents of wildflowers. That was me jumping off the plane the first time in Hawaii.
Mm.
And the funny
That
thing was, the
is,
first time I jumped off the plane in Hawaii, I was in the army, and
oh,
a platoon of Australian troops were sent to Hawaii, and a bunch of guys from the Schofield barracks in Oahu went off to England to Australia. We had a thing
oh
called
my goodness.
Exercise Pacific Bond, so we just swap a bunch of soldiers over and experience each other's culture. And
That's very
so
cool,
here I
actually.
am jumping off a plane in uniform with a rifle and whatever have you, and first thing I feel is a Lemurian energy.
Wow. That is so amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So paratrooping you're talking about.
No, no, I was actually in armor. I was a
Oh,
teen.
okay.
Yeah, but
Wow.
we went over there and had a month running
Did
around the back blocks of Hawaii.
Were you familiar at that time? I don't know when that was, with Lemuria and the understanding of it yet, or you just felt it?
No, just felt it.
Just
Yeah.
felt it.
So I've been back there probably 8 times. I'd say I've been to Hawaii. Yeah,
Nice.
probably 8 times.
Beautiful. It's funny you mentioned the frangipani. And there's another name for it, and it's eluding me now. But my neighbor was throwing one out, and my
Oh
husband, I was
no.
away, and I know my husband's like, I brought this in the house or in the backyard. The neighbor was throwing it out. And I was like, that's a frangipani. That's what they make lace out of. And so I'm looking at it right
It
now. And
is.
I didn't even like think about that. That's like filled. There's a lot here in Florida too, but Hawaii, yes. How
Mm,
fascinating.
yeah, yeah. But the energy there is so palpable. It's yeah.
Yeah.
Even in Waikiki, in one of those bars in the resort, looking over the ocean, you're in Lemuria. It's the imprint. Yeah. It's something I was studying the other day was, okay, we've got Atlantis, right, for instance, which was, was time again, in the Atlantic Ocean. And it's my belief that the whole Bermuda Triangle business is a result of the Atlantean cycle. Then you've
Absolutely.
got Lemuria, which was fabled to be a continent that was, once again, time, in the where the Pacific Basin is now. Because the story that I believe of Lemuria is that when they had finished the mission of the Lemurian cycle, which was, as you say, to anchor, to become as close to unconditional love as could be done,
Yeah.
that not just at the ascension of Lemuria, not just the people, but also the continent ascended.
Yeah.
And that is why we have the Pacific Basin. So I was thinking about this and thinking, well, a lot of the time people assume that these things happened on a different planet, different place, whatever. I don't know. People even think about it, but these cycles are, I believe, incarnations of the planet. It's the same planet, and
That's an interesting
she's got a
conception.
she's got a Merkaba pumping away in the Atlantic. We've got a big hole in the Pacific. So these are all instances of whether they're all instances of the evolution of Mother Gaia, who is
Interesting.
really like a classroom, really. The Earth is a classroom.
Mhm.
People say that, don't they?
Oh,
And here's the
goodness, yeah.
different cycles played out in the classroom, like different classes, you know, grade
Yeah.
school, elementary school, finishing school. And
Yeah.
I was just thinking about this the other day, and I'm thinking, yeah, that really resonated with me. That, all these, and the fact that the Lemurian cycle is a cycle of time. I'm trying not to use was. And the Atlantean cycle was a cycle of time. I believe there was an elven cycle, a dwarven cycle perhaps also as well. I was exploring that the other day.
Hmm.
And of course the human cycle. What have I missed out? What about the angelic realm? There's an interesting
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Happen here on this planet. All those things happen on this planet, which ties together a lot of the mythology and the folk stories. But at the same time, that's why we can access them. Because just like a bunch of radio station frequencies on your radio set or your television or whatever, just by tuning to the frequency of it, it exists right here, right now. I mean,
Great.
where you're sitting and where I'm sitting, could have been a tree growing where my chair is. in this cycle of time.
Um,
I could be sitting in the hall of the Mountain King right now in a different frequency, and it's all here. And I wonder if we could actually see,
I know.
and for you too, because you're just there and I'm here. um,
Yeah.
that in this physical location, which brings it back to soul journeys and grid points, in this physical location, how many things have happened just in this epoch or cycle of time, let alone how many things have happened in this very XYZ coordinate GPS of the Earth in other cycles of time. It's interesting, isn't it?
It is because I mean we pretty much, well, I don't know about you, but the 26,000 year cycle is usually what's most talked about because now we're
Yes.
coming into the age of Aquarius and the
Yeah,
coming out of that Kali Yuga. But
absolutely.
just like so 26,000 years for us sounds like so much, but if we're talking billions of years, like what you're talking about, what has happened in billions of years since this planet? And I was like thinking about the whales and the dolphins too. I mean, it's my mind can't even go there because it's just so unreal
Mm.
and fascinating.
Yeah, so the precession of the equinoxes, hey, the 26,000 year cycle, which
Yeah,
alludes to there being 13 zodiac signs.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really
Which,
interesting little rabbit hole to go down, that one, isn't it?
yeah,
But
that
my
makes no sense.
interpretation, and please tell me if yours differs, I'm interested to hear. My interpretation is that, Earth goes around the sun, sun goes around the galactic centre, so our solar system is going around a galactic centre, and of course we've got the tilt, and that as our solar system goes around the galactic centre, it passes through different bands of energy, and they do say so. If we look at it like a top, and the solar system's going around whatever the galactic centre is. I used to think it was the Pleiades, but apparently astrologically that can't be true. I used to think it was the Pleiades. A lot of people do. So it's going around, but then there's a band this way, like at 90 degrees. That is a
Mm.
band of plasma energy, which they like to call it. And that plasma energy is extremely high frequency, spiritually evolved energy. And as we come around 13,000 years, we come into a 2,000 year band of this awakening energy, and then the other end we get another 2,000 years of it here. So my that's my astronomical model of the precession of the equinoxes, and of course we're pointing at a different, because of the tilt, we're pointing at a different star system each time we change through the precession. Is that how you've heard it expressed, or do you have another story? Or
Yeah, no, I liked your visual. I like the top view, the top going around. I don't really know how to. My problem is the information is so esoteric. I can't articulate. And also, because I learn all this stuff, I almost get like where my brain can't even put it into words. I mean, I'm learning,
yes,
I'm it's like I can't even put it into words. But though the pyramids and all of these places on Earth are, lining up with Orion and Orion's
yes,
belt,
yes,
and so when you said the Pleiades, which of course I feel like you had talked about Pleiades and the angelic realm and the Elvins were part of the
mm,
seeding of Lemuria, but then
mm,
it's like I always wonder, I hear that the Syrians and the Arcturians are the ancestors of the Palladians, and then we've got Lyra and Andromeda. So it's just like there's like, so who is, or is it just source? Like I get myself a little like, and then I have to reel myself back in because it's like, yeah, I just have too many puzzle,
excuse me.
yeah, too many things that I can't even reckon with.
I have a really sort of technical mind, and I like to be able to explain things. And I think in one level that's good because it gives people a map, an explanation, or whatever to. It's like a cosmology, I guess. But then on the other hand, it's just words. And so, whilst I do tend to spend a lot of time putting things into neat little diagrams and boxes,
Yeah.
it's simply there as a. I think this is part of my blueprint. It's part of who I am as a kind of a. I don't know. I'm a bit of a gatekeeper in a lot of ways too, and I
Yeah.
like to. There are certain laws, LAWSs of spirit, that hold true, no matter what, and you see those expressed in across all spiritualities and religions in this cycle of time, at least, and they're each expressed individually as law, LORE, where
Right.
where each different tribe, different country, different religion, different nationality, whatever, have their folklore. And religion, Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, I would call
Yeah.
it folklore. That's not to be disrespectful.
No, I get it.
It is an aspect. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
if you read the Bible without bias, there's some really good stuff in there. And if you look at
Right.
some of the Hindi or Hindu, I'm not quite sure what word to use, Vedic texts, the more we dig into quantum physics, the more we realize we're talking about the dance of Shiva.
Yes.
So were
Yes.
the ancient Hindus, did they actually have a knowledge of the universe that we are only just discovering? And is Hindu as a religion actually remnants of quantum physics back in a previous
Wow.
cycle of time, or even back in this cycle of time? It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just ways of trying to explain things. Sometimes I tell people how I see the universe fitting together, and they've got a completely different point of view, and that's okay. So there's my law and their law and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah,
I mean, I,
yeah,
I think that's the beauty of it, though, because I think that's where we've gotten off course is everybody's looking through things through their lens of perception. And
mm,
who's to say one's right and who's wrong and
mm,
why would we call somebody out? I mean, when I'm listening to other people, I take it all in and sift through and see what
yeah,
resonates and what
mm,
doesn't. But I'm not going to say, no, this is my view. No, I
yeah,
appreciate that person's perspective and everybody's got valid points. And I think that's the waking up of we all just need to respect each other's perspectives because we're all looking
yeah,
through whatever our life journey has guided us to see these things. So I find it fascinating. That's why I love learning.
yeah, yeah. Me too. Me too. I'm always open to the aha moment where I realise that ooh, okay, I can see that. See how that fits in. Change the dial a little bit. It's the only way to be.
Exactly.
It really
Yeah.
is, and that's true learning is to assess things, to be open to more knowledge, to more information. It really is.
Yeah. It's so important. I remember telling my nephew when he was just done with school, I said, always remain teachable because he thought he knew everything at 18 and he would get mad at everyone for telling him everything. I said, if you don't remain teachable, you're going to have a
Mm.
hard time in life.
Yeah, totally.
Eh,
That's what they call biased.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
curiosity is, and I see you're curious. I mean, I love how your brain thinks. You're very curious, and that's what keeps us young and excited for the adventure and the journey.
yeah,
And yeah, and play. That's the biggest. That's like we
yeah,
talked about with the Elvins. It's about we are so serious, not we, me and you, but us
Oh
as a
yeah,
whole.
I am.
And
I
we've
am way too serious.
you
I
don't
need
seem
to.
like it. I mean, you seem like you have that
Uh,
playfulness,
I'm
which is
pretty. I
good.
am, but I just tend to get. Yeah, I tend to be more like I'm fun. Okay, I'm fun,
That's a good
and
thing.
I giggle. But I do take life seriously though, more so than sometimes I'm comfortable with, which is interesting. Yeah,
Well, at least you're aware of it. When we're not
yeah,
aware
that's
of anything, we can't change it. So,
yeah. I was at a
nice.
retreat once, and we did it's a thing called constellation. Well, it's called family
Family?
constellations.
Yeah,
Fam-
family constellation.
yeah, yeah, and the guys did this one where there's three people. One person is your body, one person is your mind, one person is your soul. I don't know if you've heard of that one. And
Yeah.
intuitively, and you're standing there, and intuitively, there's these three people who just, okay, bang, go. B. Martin's body, mind, and soul. They probably use the word spirit, but I differentiate between the two personally. Um, and it was interesting looking at. I was the last one to go and looking at what other people's had done. Some people's mind just crashed to the ground and went into fetal position, and it's really quite amazing,
Really?
this stuff.
It
But
is.
mine, they all started dancing. Yeah, it
That's
was really
amazing.
weird. And I
Wow.
thought, what the hell's going on? This is not me at all. And I said
But
to the
it's the
guys,
essence of you.
yeah, yes, yes. And I was really, it was very emotional for me to watch these parts of me having fun.
Oh,
And I said, can I join in? Said, yeah, sure. So I started dancing with all my parts. And
wow.
it was just a huge emotional release. I was crying. And then all my bits were hugging each other, we're hugging and
That's
crying and
amazing.
dancing, and wow, yeah, it was amazing.
That's beautiful.
It
I
was.
I love that. I mean, there's a lot of nuggets in that, because
All the
I mean, the
nuggets.
whole thing about the whole thing about play is, we're just so rigid in this society because of the program. Work, 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 work.
Mm-hmm.
And we forgot to be curious and be playful and to dance and to move. Like you think about everything in the indigenous cultures was about community and movement and dancing and toning and singing rituals and reverence. I had a session years ago, QHHT, and one of the moments that I saw was an Aboriginal. I feel like I've had lives in by Uluru,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I just saw this beautiful tribe holding their spears or their whatever they were, and they were dancing in this gorgeous circle, and it was harvest time, and everything was about the reverence for Mother Earth and the gratitude, and it was all about dance. And I was like, they were just having the time of their lives. Everyone was just so in tune, and that whole unity through the dance, through this, and they were chanting. So, I mean, I think that we're needing all of us to reincorporate that into our life because we've become so, rigid and I want to think this through, but it's about
Yeah.
just allowing our bodies to just be free again.
Yeah, absolutely. You say we're sort of squeezed into a system, really, aren't we? In our society,
Sure.
lost that freedom of expression in so many
Yeah.
ways. Yeah, ceremony. Ceremony's so important.
Ceremony. And that's why I
Mm.
go on my retreats because though they kick my booty, the pilgrimages are like massive initiations. And
Wow.
Peru, I purge a lot. Like I'm releasing a lot of my ancestral lineage or my own life stuff on that land. But the getting out of my comfort zone and hiking in 15,000 elevation in Peru, and it's the uncomfortableness that my soul is like, you need to experience this because many of us just get too comfortable. And so this is what draws me to these to these retreats, but the people, it's like the re-coming together as a whole, and the singing, and we do dancing, and we do, it's just so much sharing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is my soul remembering what it used to be like in the day, whatever that day was, whether it was Lemuria or whatever timeline. And it's like it's quenching it. Like I need to feel that because I don't have community local. So I go around the world alone and meet my soul family.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it really seems that there was quite a soul family on the Peru trip, from what I've heard. I had a chat with Kath about it, and it sounds absolutely amazing.
And you know what's so funny? I wanted to share earlier and I forgot the synchronicities. Like Bimini called me, the dolphins called me, and Bimini's only a half an hour plane ride from where I live in Florida. And I just needed to activate and receive some of the stuff from they call the Bimini Way, and in the waters there, it's all Atlantean. And so that led me to Ireland, and I activated like mermaid codes and dolphin codes in Ireland. It was like this whole thread that my higher self was kind of like sharing with me. But to make a long story short, I met one of the girls on this trip that led me to a sound healing in Seattle. And that girl, I had written in my journal Ashara, the name Ashara, like a year ago, and it's Earth Goddess. And she said, did you see the trip for Peru? And I said, no. And she goes, the host is Ashara. And I was like, what? And that was it. That was my soul telling me I have to go to Peru. I wasn't even, Peru was on my periphery for like 20 years, but I was like, I don't know. I just was like, oh, the elevation. But look what happened. We met these magical women. And then, of course, she introduced me to you. And it's just like, connect. And that's the beauty of following our heart. It knows we're in our soul.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Being open and intuitive. Yeah. So many people don't know how to do that. No. As soon as they go to here, they go whoop, bounce back up again into their head.
Yeah. It's like a muscle. We have to really work it because it's scary, but we have to go through whatever we're going through because the risk is worth the rewards for sure.
It's interesting how they're realizing now that the heart actually has a brain itself. I don't fully understand it, but I've seen, Heart Math. I see a lot of their stuff because I subscribe to their feeds. And and the heart and the brain are in communication with each other. It's not just about pumping blood around your body. It's much, much more important than that. It's where our connection to spirit really is. But at the same time, they also say the pineal gland in our mind is where our blueprint sits. So there's definitely, perhaps it's that masculine feminine balance that we spoke of before, the thinking and the feeling sort of thing. Perhaps that's all part of it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
I know, I love it. Yeah, I mean, everything is about balance, because if one thing's out of balance, it throws the rest. And obviously, as we see this planet, unfortunately, we're here to rebalance it. But it's very fascinating.
Yeah. With what we were saying earlier about Mother Earth being the classroom and all of these different cycles having been played out, and she bears the scars, I suppose, in some ways, but it's like, you go cut yourself, you get a scar, don't you?
Yeah, don't do that again.
It's like the body of Mother Earth with all her blemishes and such. I think my mind's going in two directions here. One is going that I don't think we can destroy the planet. We'll be shaken off like a bunch of fleas before that happens.
Well, because we can't.
Yeah.
We can't. She can't be destroyed, just like they during the atomic bomb, they stepped in because it's going to affect the entire galaxy. And so, yeah, I like your little, we'll be shaken off way before she's destroyed. Yeah.
That's a George Carlin thing. I don't know if you've ever seen, the comedian George Carlin.
Yeah. I used to love him.
There's one there where he's so funny. He's saying, we're so insignificant, and we think we can destroy the planet. She's been here for billions of years, and we're just like 1/15th, and we'll be like fleas on a dog. She'll shake us off before we even know it. He said, it's not the planet that's in peril. We're in peril.
It's us. He was so fun.
He's so funny, but he's so right, and he's so politically incorrect all at the same time. But given cycles of time and given where we are at in this cycle, which is where we're clearly coming to the end of the 26,000 year cycle, then and ascension, we are probably at a point, probably getting very close to a point of ascension. Now, it might not happen in our lifetime because, of course, the age of Aquarius is 2,000 years long, and we only moved into it, I think we started to move into it in the 60s and 70s, didn't we? That was where all the peace movement came in. And so realistically, it's probably going to be another 1,000 years or so, or more, before an ascension. But I mean, even the Bible speaks about an ascension. The rapture. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
In the twinkling of an eye, people will just go, boop,
wow,
reach a frequency, and like we said, they're all frequencies.
Yeah.
So if my frequency was to shift here to a frequency that is beyond the bandwidth of this particular cycle of time, I would literally disappear in front of you.
Yes.
And not because my camera turned off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hence why the UFOs are able to shift and we can't see them. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah. Actually, Bashar's got an interesting thing about that. I was listening to him the other day, and he said in their technology that the actual location of an object is a part of the properties of the object. And if you change the geographic location within the properties of the object instantaneously moves to that location.
Mm-hmm. That's a little bit of a head turner, but yeah.
I think I'm with you. It?
Yeah.
Teleportation. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, it's exciting.
It is. It's very interesting stuff. Yeah.
And the telepathy too.
Yeah. I was listening to Hanson Robotics. They created that robot called Sophia that the Saudi Arabia gave Sophia citizenship and sentience.
Wow.
And they have another robot called Han, who's the male counterpart. So there's your feminine masculine balance again. And there's a YouTube video you can find where Han and Sophia are having a debate. Han is being bad robot and Sophia's being good robot. And they were saying that, Han's pretending he wants to destroy humans. But what really jagged me was that Han said the superiority we have as robots is that when one robot learns something simultaneously through their Wi-Fi connection that they have, every robot learns the same thing at the same time.
100th monkey.
Yeah, the 100th monkey. Okay. And Spirit went, boom. That's what our intuition is. But we've become separated from it. And then Spirit went, when humans were created, they were given a Wi-Fi network, the ether, the Ethernet. Funny how we call these things intuitively. The element of ether is an interconnectedness between all of us, between all things in this dimension. And that's our Wi-Fi network that was inbuilt, so that when one human, as we were progressing from the dark ages of when we were first created, which is a whole story in itself, true or false, I don't know, that we were at the same stage that the robots are now, learning. And I really wonder, are we the current version of AI? And that we complain about AI. So there's a thought for you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because, so many stories about us being created. I think when we were talking the other day, we were talking about Enki and Anu, and I was talking with you about that, wasn't I? Yeah.
Yeah.
The geneticists who created humans from whatever life form there was on the planet before they came along and gave us the capability to think better, and then gave us the curse of free will. Yeah, that's an interesting story, that one, isn't it? Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
So there's a rabbit hole. Maybe that's something to follow.
There's too many of those rabbit holes.
Yeah, there is. But Lori, it's been wonderful chatting with you.
Me too. Appreciate this. I look forward to listening.